Hello again. It has been far too long, but it is back. Welcome to the Tier 4 studio in Morgantown, West Virginia for the Charleston Daily Mail. I am Mike Casaza, and take my word for this. It is actually March 2nd, 2014. It is snowing out, it's icy, it's cold, it's windy. Nevertheless, West Virginia fitted in its first of 15 spring practices spread across 6 weeks this afternoon in the, dysfunctional Caperton Indoor Facility. Only way they could practice today was to go inside. Thought about canceling it, but Dana Holgorsen said he was overwhelmed by the enthusiasm and the eagerness to practice from the players and also the assistant coaches. They kind of tired of waiting, want to hurry up, get going here. And again, they have just the 3 practices this week and then have a week off. I don't know if they want to wait much longer or have any more inactivity in the football sense incorporated into what they do. Before we get going, though, because I sometimes don't devote enough attention to the things I should, congratulations to Mike Carey and his women's basketball team. Number 11, West Virginia goes to number 6, Baylor, ends the Bears' 35-game home winning streak, and West Virginia has a chance for a conference regular season championship they have not had in a long, long time. Tuesday with the game against Kansas, and for as often as you say, Mike Carey is really good at what he does, doesn't make as much money as he should, so on and so forth. Is this the biggest win? Probably not, but I think that speaks of how good Mike Carey's been. However, when's the last time that his team went into a game with a chance to win the conference championship? When's the last time he went into a tournament with a chance to win the tournament? Didn't happen in the Big East, not with UConn, Notre Dame, sometimes Rutgers. Just the second year in the Big 12, and has already gone toe-to-toe with really one of the best programs in the conference, also the country, in Baylor. And today beat them, got a win, and again is around the doorstep of a conference regular season championship. So good for them, and good to have football back in our lives. 30 minutes of just watching today. What do you know? Not much, but what was interesting was the parade of players coming in from outside to inside. You see some crazy people wearing shorts and long sleeves, and some people have sweaters on over their jerseys, some people have sweatshirts. But when the people who have just the panties, blue or gold or white, on over their t-shirts, the t-shirts as they walk past, you can tell written across their back, all capital letters, finish. A lot of them, not just 1 or 2 people who maybe had a t-shirt left over from in the past. This seemed to be a team unity thing, maybe a message that a team that did not complete games last year, think of how many times West Virginia had a chance, had a lead, and didn't finish. So I think right now that's probably something they're focusing on, probably part of the winter off-season conditioning program, but certainly something that they're going to start with as they get going in spring practice here. Saw Tom Bradley today very briefly. He will not speak to the media, I'm told, Tuesday. Still trying to get his feet under him as he gets adjusted to his new life coaching defensive line at West Virginia. Maybe the big news item of the day, Dana Holgorsen finally announces the plans for his defensive coaching staff. It will be Tom Bradley, a veteran defensive line coach, coaching the defensive lines. Damon Cogdell never coached in college before. He'll now coach linebackers. Pretty awkward scene the other day, though, at that pre-spring luncheon 2 Fridays ago where Damon Cogdell was answering questions about the defensive line and clearly winging it and looking at a depth chart in front of him so he could reference how old this player was, how big this player was. Maybe that was why. But certainly Damon knows linebackers, linebacking better. He played the position here at a very high level at West Virginia, and he's getting a new start. So it's not like he's bringing a base of knowledge at one position that's better than the other. It's new to him. It was going to be new anywhere. Why not put him where he's new, and why not put Bradley where he's been very successful before? One thing that Dana Holgorsen did say, kind of the obvious, but at least an acknowledgement of the obvious, Tom Bradley's greatest asset is being a 35-year coaching veteran. He's going to help Holgorsen with some things that he has not yet experienced or needs to experience a little bit better. He'll also help Tony Gibson with the game planning sense and just some technique and fundamental stuff about how to do things properly, how to administer things properly. That's, again, the thing that Bradley can do. It's a veteran presence on this team, especially on defense where they need some help on defense. And who better than a 35-year coaching veteran who was on some really good defenses and sometimes a National Assistant Coach of the Year finalist at Penn State. Didn't see a whole lot out of practice today. A couple things you can keep an eye on. Skyler Howard. Just watching him, a pretty quick release. You can't tell a whole lot, I think, from that YouTube video clip because everything is a highlight. So you're kind of desensitized after a while. Watching him go through some drills, a quick release, especially when he goes before or after Paul Millard. Millard brings the ball back, brings it down sometimes. Howard, very quick. Millard's not bad either. In fact, he's been complimented in the past for having a good release. Howard's just quicker, does stuff like that. Those are the only two really going through the reps that were probably worth keeping an eye on. You saw some Logan Moore, but again, first day, I'm not going to give you a leader in the quarterback competition race between Millard and Skylar Howard. Did pay attention to some of the line play. Offensive line is really, really big, and some of those guys who are going to compete for the tackle position, be they Marcel Lazard, Sylvester Towns, guys like that, new guys you haven't seen before, really are really big, really long guys. Everybody knows the interior guys. Tyler Orlowski from last year at center, Spain and Glowinski at guard. But who are the outside guys? Adam Pankey looks mobile, moving around, doesn't have that careful gait about him that maybe he had last year as he's coming back from the ACL injury. Marquise Lucas is playing tackle, and looks like he is maybe a little bit slimmer and a little bit bigger in a muscular sense than he has been before when he was playing guard. But Lucas, Pankey, Towns, and Lazard are probably your leaders, I guess, for the tackle position. But don't forget, 6'9", 325-pound Mike Calicio, who, again, is the first one I want coming off of the bus, I think. And again, receivers is another thing where you just notice there's a lot of bodies out there. And last year, that was one of those things where you weren't going to have great depth, or at least a depth chart in the spring. All those guys are back now that arrived in the summer, which is a big difference for this spring. But also, you have some young guys who you never saw on the field last year that maybe have a chance. One name to keep an eye on, I think, is Jackie Marcellus. They need that inside receiver to be like the fourth option. You're going to have a lot of Kevin White and Mario Alford outside. You're going to have a lot of DeKeel Shorts inside. West Virginia still does like to go with 4 receivers. That means 2 inside guys. So you wonder, can a guy like Marcellus beat out Jordan Thompson, who certainly had a lot of time, but hasn't really grabbed a hold of it and certainly isn't above DeKeel Shorts in anybody's mind. The other part I got to look at was watching Bradley coach the defensive line, and you can tell he's probably pretty excited to be out there, but maybe because he has some big bodies and some able players out there. Christian Brown looks like a really big, svelte kid, too. Darian Howard looks like he's going to fit right in there in that middle of that defensive line. And one of the experiments that we'll keep an eye on this spring is Brandon Jackson, formerly an offensive lineman. They moved him. They said, hey, do you think we can put you in the middle of the nose and you can whip the guard and the center? And he said, actually, you put me in there, I'll whip the center and both guards. So I think at least the confidence is high with him. But he looks like, at least physically, he can probably take on that part of the job. But again, what is that about? Who knows? But what is the spring about? It's seeing guys like Jackson develop, something we'll keep an eye on over the next 14 practices. I don't know how many more of these we'll do because I only get to see them practice a few more times. I will update you as can. But thank you for joining me again. Good to have you back. Good to be here again inside the Tier 4 studio for the Charleston Daily Mail. I am Mike Casazza. See you next time.